In order to use links in an interactive presentation, your slides have to be named. Those names are what you use to pick the slide you're linking to. Adding a name is easy. The name is whatever is in this title text box that is added by default when you create a new slide. So I'm going to call this slide Beach. What if I don't want a title sitting on top of the slide? I just want a picture of a beach. I can leave this text box, but hide it so it's not so obvious. First, I'm going to make it much smaller. Then I'm going to change the color of the text. And now I'm going to move it down to the bottom of the slide. So the title is still there, but you're not going to notice it unless you're really looking for it. If you do hide the title, I strongly recommend that you put the name of the slide in the speaker's notes. If you end up with 20 or 30 slides in your presentation, having the name right there makes it much easier to keep track of which slide you're on. Now, by default, when you're in presentation mode, clicking anywhere on a slide is going to take you to the next slide. That's fine when you're presenting slides in a meeting or in a class, but in an interactive presentation like a game, you want the player to get different results depending on where they click. So for example, in this slide, you want something to happen if the player clicks on Go Swimming, and something different to happen if they click on Lie on the Sand. And if they click on the beach or the sky or anywhere else on the slide, you don't want anything to happen. You want them to stay on this slide. So I'm going to go back to our first slide, beach, and see how to do this. I want to add an image of a blimp flying in the sky. And if the player clicks on the blimp, I want them to go to another slide. If they click anywhere else, I want them to stay on this slide. So in order to do that, I'm going to add a shape. And I'm going to put a link in this that links to this slide. Remember, this is slide 1, beach. Now I'm going to size this so that it covers the entire slide. And change the fill color to transparent. So now there's actually a cover over this entire slide so that in presentation mode, anywhere I click, nothing's going to happen. It's not going to go to the next slide. It's going to stay here. So now if I insert an image, here's my blimp. Make it much smaller. Put it in the sky. And I'm going to add a link on this image so it will go to another slide. And it's going to go to the slide called blimp. So now if I go into the slideshow to present, I click all over the slide, nothing happens. When I click on the blimp, it takes me to another slide.